Every night, my wife and my son slipped sleeping pills into my bourbon. "Please, just rest. You need sleep," Marlene whispered, smoothing my shoulder like I was already in a casket. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. Her fingers were cold. They always were after her shift at the hospital, but this felt different. Clinical. I lifted the glass. The amber liquid caught the kitchen light. I'd been drinking the same brand for 30 years, knew every note of smoke and caramel, but for the past 3 weeks, there'd been something else. A bitter edge that didn't belong. "You work too hard, Dad," Travis said from the doorway. My son, 29 years old and wearing a suit that cost more than I made in a month at the shop. "Mom's right. You need to slow down." I brought the glass to my lips, tilted it, let the bourbon touch my tongue, then held it there. Marlene watched. Travis watched. I swallowed air. Then I set the glass down, most of the liquid still inside, and rubbed my face. "You're right. I'm exhausted." "Finish your drink, honey," Marlene urged. "It'll help you sleep." "In a minute." I stood, swaying a little for effect. "Bathroom first." I poured the bourbon into the sink, rinsed my mouth, and stared at my reflection. 56 years old, a gray threading through my hair, lines around my eyes from squinting at engine blocks. I'd been a paramedic for a decade before I opened Abbott Auto Repair. I knew what betrayal looked like. When I came back, the glass was gone. Marlene was loading the dishwasher, humming. Travis had disappeared. "I'm going to bed," I announced. "Good," Marlene said without turning. "Sleep well." I climbed the stairs, closed the door, and lay down fully clothed. The house settled into nighttime sounds. Then, around midnight, different sounds. Voices from below. Laughter. The snap of cards being shuffled. The clink of chips. I got up slowly and crept down the hallway. The basement door stood ajar. Light spilled up the stairs. I descended one step at a time, staying close to the wall. The basement was a card room. 6 men sat around my grandfather's oak table, poker chips stacked high. Cash in the center, bills rubber-banded in thick rolls. Travis stood behind one player, whispering. Marlene worked the bar, pouring drinks. I recognized Vincent Moretti. I'd fixed his Cadillac last year. He ran a construction company. The others I didn't know, but their watches told me enough. "Raise 2,000, someone said. Travis caught Marlene's eye and nodded toward the dealer, making a subtle gesture with 2 fingers. The dealer nodded back. I'd seen enough card mechanics in my paramedic days. This dealer was good, but not perfect. The bottom deal was smooth, but I caught it. Travis was running a rigged game in my house. I retreated upstairs, my heart hammering. Back in the bedroom, I stared at the ceiling and tried to make sense of it. The sleeping pills weren't about helping me rest. They were about keeping me unconscious while my wife and son turned my home into an illegal card club. The next morning, Marlene made eggs and toast like nothing had happened. Travis showed up for breakfast, which he never did. "How'd you sleep, Dad?" "Like I was gone," I said. He smiled. "Good." I ate slowly, watching them. Marlene kept checking her phone. Travis drummed his fingers on the table. "I'm thinking about updating my will," I said casually. Marlene's fork stopped. Travis's drumming ceased. "Why?" Marlene asked. "Just thinking about the future. The shop's worth something now. Want to make sure everything's in order." "That's smart," Travis said. "Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you about that, about making sure your assets are protected." "Protected from what?" "From yourself." He leaned back. "Dad, you're getting older. You forget things. You get confused. We've noticed." I felt cold. "I'm 56, not 80. It's not about age. It's about capacity." He glanced at Marlene. "Mom agrees. We think it's time to consider some legal arrangements. Power of attorney, medical directives." "If something happens," I repeated slowly, "or when you decide something should happen." The air went sharp. "Leo," Marlene said softly, "we're worried about you. You've been so tired lately, forgetting appointments. We just want to help." They wanted to declare me incompetent, lock me into a legal framework where they controlled everything. The sleeping pills were the first step. Make me groggy, forgetful, confused. Document it. Build a case, then take it all. "I'll think about it," I said. After Travis left, I drove to the shop. Abbott Auto Repair sat on the corner of Maple and 4th. I'd bought it 8 years ago with a loan and a prayer. Now it was mine, clear title, steady income. Or it had been mine. I sat in my office and opened the filing cabinet. Found the property deed, the business license. Everything was in my name, but if Travis got power of attorney, that wouldn't matter. I needed help, someone who could see the pattern, who wouldn't think I was paranoid. I thought of Ethan Clarkson. He lived 2 doors down, a retired math professor who spent his days solving puzzles. We'd had maybe a dozen conversations over the years. But he was sharp, observant. I locked up early and walked to Ethan's house. He answered in a cardigan and reading glasses. Leo, unexpected. Can we talk? He studied me, then stepped aside. Come in. His living room was books stacked everywhere, classical music playing low, a chessboard on the coffee table. What's on your mind? Ethan asked. I told him everything, the sleeping pills, the basement card club, Travis's talk about power of attorney. As I spoke, Ethan's expression didn't change. He just listened. When I finished, he was quiet. Then he said, How many cars? What? At night, when the games run. How many cars park on the street? 5, maybe 6. I've counted 8. He walked to the window. Different vehicles each time, expensive. They arrive between 11 and midnight. Leave around 3 or 4. You've been watching? I'm 70. I don't sleep much. He turned back. Your wife and son are running an illegal gambling operation in your home, drugging you to keep you compliant and preparing to seize your assets. Does that sum it up? Yes. Then you need a strategy. He sat down and pulled out a notepad. Not revenge. Strategy. If you go to the police now, what happens? I thought about it. They investigate. Maybe. And your wife is a nurse. She can claim the pills are prescribed. Your son can claim the games are friendly. Without evidence, it's your word against theirs. He was right. So what do I do? Ethan smiled, thin and cold. We document everything. Video, audio, financial records. We build a case so airtight they can't breathe. And then we don't just stop them. He leaned forward. We destroy them. Ethan Clarkson approached problems like equations, variables, constants, solutions. Sitting in his living room, he laid out the plan with precision. First, he said, tapping his pen, we need evidence. You're certain about the sleeping pills? I've been pretending to take them for 4 nights now. Good, keep pretending. But we need physical evidence. He wrote something down. Next time Marlene gives you the drink, take it to the bathroom. Pour a small amount into a clean container. I have a colleague who can test it. And the games? Video surveillance. Covert. If they find cameras, they'll shut down and accelerate their timeline. Can you access the basement during the day? I thought about it. Marlene works 3 12-hour shifts a week. Travis never comes by during daylight. I could do it tomorrow. Perfect. Ethan walked to a closet and returned with a small box. Inside were 3 devices that looked like smoke detectors. Wireless cameras. Battery-powered. They'll record to a cloud server. Put one near the bar, one covering the table, one at the entrance. You just have surveillance equipment lying around. I had a problem with a plagiarizing student 5 years ago. The university moves slowly. I don't. He handed me the box. Install these tomorrow. Then we watch. For what? For them to incriminate themselves completely. We need footage of cash exchanges, proof the games are rigged, evidence of consistent illegal activity. 1 night won't be enough. We need a pattern. I took the box. What about the power of attorney thing? Stall. Tell them you want your own lawyer to review documents. That's reasonable. It'll buy us time. Meanwhile, I'll look into Travis's business practices. Mortgage brokers leave paper trails. You think he's dirty? Men who rig card games don't suddenly develop ethics at the office. He closed his notepad. Leo, what we're planning isn't legal revenge. It's systematic dismantling. By the time we're finished, they won't just lose. They'll wish they'd never started. I left with the box and a strange feeling in my chest. Not hope, something harder. The next day, Marlene kissed me goodbye before her shift. Don't forget your vitamins, she said, setting pills on the counter. I won't. The moment her card disappeared, I flushed the pills and went to work. The basement felt different in daylight, just wood and carpet and cigarette smoke that no air freshener could hide. The cameras went up easily. One mounted inside a smoke detector casing near the bar, one tucked into a ceiling beam above the table, the third near the door. I tested each one with Ethan's app, crystal clear video. Perfect. Back upstairs, I opened a beer. It was only noon, but I needed something to steady my hands. This wasn't like fixing a transmission. This was deliberate. This was war. Travis showed up that evening unannounced. He had papers in a leather portfolio. Got something for you to look at, Dad. I told you I'd get my own lawyer. This isn't the power of attorney stuff. Not yet. He spread papers on the table. Just a simple financial planning document. Basic assessment of assets, estate value. I scanned them. They looked legitimate. Why now? Because planning ahead is smart. Because we care. He leaned back. And because the housing market's about to shift. If you're going to leverage your property, now's the time. I don't want to leverage my property. You don't want to lose its value either. His tone shifted. Dad, I do this for a living. I see people wait too long, miss opportunities, end up broke. I'm trying to help. Like you helped Vincent Moretti? Travis went still. What? Vincent Moretti. You fixed his financing last year. Got him that construction loan when 3 banks turned him down. What's your point? No point, just remembering. I handed back the papers. I'll think about it. He stared at me like he was recalculating something. Then he took the papers and stood. Don't think too long. After he left, I texted Ethan. He's pushing harder. The response came immediately. Good. Desperate men make mistakes. That night, Marlene made pot roast. Comfort food. You seem tense, she said. Just tired. Maybe you should see Dr. Hammond. Get a checkup. Could be your thyroid. Dr. Hammond was her colleague, part of her network. If I went to him, whatever he diagnosed would end up in Travis's evidence portfolio. I'll think about it. Leo. She reached across the table, took my hand. I know you think we're being pushy, but we love you. We just want what's best. I looked into her eyes, searched for the woman I'd married 30 years ago, the nurse who'd stayed up with sick kids, the wife who'd laughed at my jokes. She was gone. Or maybe she'd never existed. I know, I said. That night, I pretended to drink the bourbon again, stumbled to bed, waited. The voices started just after midnight. I pulled out my phone and opened Ethan's app. The cameras were recording. I watched from my bed. 7 players tonight. More money than I'd seen in my life. Travis wasn't dealing, but he was watching the dealer like a hawk. Marlene worked the bar. I zoomed in on the dealer's hands. There, another bottom deal. Subtle, but visible if you knew what to look for. Vincent Moretti won a big hand, grinning. But I saw Travis's face. No concern, just patience. Because Vincent would lose it all back. The house always won. I recorded everything. 3 hours of footage. Faces, cash, rigged deals. When they finally came upstairs, I was already in bed, eyes closed, breathing slow. Marlene checked on me like she did every night. Stood there for 10 seconds. Then she left. I waited another hour. Crept downstairs and found the bourbon glass in the sink. Used a cotton swab to collect residue, sealed it in a plastic bag. 3 days later, Ethan knocked at 7 in the morning. I was already up, coffee brewing, pretending to be slow and confused. Morning, Leo. He handed me a folder. Lab results. I opened it. The bourbon had been laced with zolpidem, Ambien, 10 milligrams per dose, enough to put me under without making it obvious. That's assault, I said. It's worse. It's premeditated. She's a nurse. She knows exactly what she's doing. Ethan stepped inside, lowered his voice. I also looked into Travis's business. He has 17 complaints filed with the State Banking Commission. Predatory lending, falsified documents, aggressive collection. He's 1 audit away from losing his license. So he needs money. Desperately. I traced his financials. 3 mortgages on his condo, credit cards maxed out, business loans coming due. Your house, your shop, that's his escape hatch. Everything clicked. Travis wasn't just greedy. He was drowning. And Marlene was helping him use me as a life raft. What about the video? 40 hours over 10 nights. Multiple players, consistent rigged games, cash totaling over $300,000. It's a prosecutor's dream. He paused. But we're not going to a prosecutor. Why not? Because they'll get lawyers. Plea deals. Maybe they serve a year. Maybe they don't. Either way, they'll come out with their lives intact. Ethan's eyes went cold. You don't want justice, Leo. You want annihilation. He was right. So what do we do? We wait for the big game. Travis has been advertising a tournament. High stakes. I've been monitoring his messages. Ethan showed me screenshots. It's happening Friday night. $20,000 buy-in. 8 players. Winner takes $160,000. That's too much heat. Exactly. These aren't low-level gamblers. These are men with resources, connections, reputations, men who don't lose gracefully. He smiled. And when they find out they've been cheated, they won't call the police? You want me to expose Travis during the tournament. Not just expose him, ruin him. We'll have video evidence playing on screens, documentation of every rigged hand, every false deal, every dollar stolen, and we'll make sure everyone knows your wife and son tried to have you declared incompetent. I imagined Travis's face when his world collapsed. They'll know it was me. Of course. That's the point. Ethan closed his folder. Revenge isn't about hiding. It's about standing in front of someone and watching them realize they've lost, completely, irreversibly. What if they come after me? With what? They'll have no money, no credibility, no leverage. The players at that tournament will make sure of that. He headed for the door. You've been a good man your whole life. Worked hard, played fair, trusted people, and they tried to erase you. Now it's your turn. After Ethan left, I sat in my kitchen and thought about the next 3 days. I had to keep playing the role. Tired, confused, compliant. Let them think the pills were working. Let them believe I was beaten. Travis called that afternoon. Hey, Dad, just checking in. How are you feeling? Tired. Yeah, Mom mentioned that. Listen, about those documents I showed you, have you thought about it? A little. Good, because I've been talking to some people and there's a really good opportunity coming up. Real estate investment, but we'd need to move fast. Use the house as collateral. My house. My home for 28 years, where I'd raised my son, buried my father's ashes in the backyard garden, built a life, and he wanted to use it as collateral for a scheme. I don't know, Travis. Dad, trust me on this. I know what I'm doing. This is what I do. His voice got sharper. You've been a mechanic your whole life. That's great. But finance, investments, that's my world. Let me help you. I'll think about it. Silence on the other end. Then, don't think too long. Opportunities don't wait. He hung up. I called Ethan immediately. He wants to use my house as collateral. Of course he does. He's running out of time. His loans are coming due next month. He needs liquidity fast. So Friday is really it. Friday is everything. The tournament, the exposure, the end. Ethan's voice was calm. Are you ready? I looked around my kitchen, at the table where Travis had eaten breakfast as a kid, at the window where Marlene used to stand watching birds, at the life I'd built that they were trying to steal. Yes, I said, I'm ready. That night, Marlene came home from her shift looking exhausted. Real exhaustion, not the fake kind she used when manipulating me. Long night? I asked. Patient coded twice. We got him back, but barely. She dropped her bag. Sometimes I wonder why I still do this job. For a moment, she looked like the woman I'd married. Vulnerable, human. Then she saw the bourbon on the counter and her expression shifted, back to the mask. You should drink that, honey. Help you relax. I picked up the glass, brought it to my lips, watched her watching me. Marlene, I said, do you remember when we first bought this house? She blinked. Of course. You said it felt like home the moment you walked in. Said you could see our whole life here. I remember. Was any of that true? Her face went carefully blank. What kind of question is that? Just wondering. I took a fake sip. Just wondering if I ever really knew you at all? She came closer, put her hand on my cheek. You're tired, Leo. You're not thinking clearly. Drink your bourbon and go to bed. I did what she said, went upstairs, lay down, listened. The game started at 11:30. Smaller crowd tonight, 4 players. But the money was just as real. I watched on my phone as they played, as Travis supervised, as Marlene served drinks and smiled. My wife, my son, criminals in my home. Friday couldn't come fast enough. Thursday morning, I drove to the county clerk's office. Ethan had given me specific instructions. Get copies of everything. Property deeds, business licenses, tax records. Create a paper trail that proved ownership beyond any doubt. The clerk, a woman named Janet who'd worked there for 30 years, pulled the files without question. Doing some estate planning, Leo? Something like that. Smart. My husband waited too long. When he passed, it took us 2 years to sort everything out. She stamped the documents. These are certified copies. They'll hold up in any court. I thanked her and left with a folder full of proof. Proof that everything was mine. Proof that I'd built it, earned it, owned it. Proof they couldn't take it. Next stop was my bank. I met with a manager, a guy named Phillips, who'd approved my business loan 8 years ago. Leo, good to see you. What can I do for you? I want to make sure my accounts are secure. No one else has access. No power of attorney on file. Nothing. Phillips checked his computer. Everything's in your name only. Has been since you opened the accounts. Why? Is something wrong? Just being careful. Well, if you ever want to add anyone, you'd need to come in person with proper ID and sign documents in front of a notary. We take security seriously. Good, I said. Keep it that way. He looked confused, but nodded. Will do. I left the bank feeling more solid. They could drug me, manipulate me, try to declare me incompetent. But the money was locked down. The property was documented. The business was mine. Ethan called as I was driving back to the shop. How'd it go? And everything's secure, documents certified, bank accounts locked. Perfect. Now we wait. Tomorrow night everything changes. He paused. Leo, I need you to understand something. What we're about to do? There's no going back. Once you expose them, your family is gone. Your marriage is over. Your son will hate you. They already hate me, Ethan. They just haven't admitted it yet. Fair enough. I'll be at your house at 10 tomorrow night. Stay upstairs until the game starts. Let them think everything's normal. Then, when I give the signal, you come down. What signal? You'll know. He hung up. I spent the rest of Thursday at the shop, working on a transmission rebuild. Normally, I loved this work. The precision, the problem-solving, the satisfaction of fixing something broken. But today, my hands shook. My mind wandered. Tomorrow night, I would destroy my family. Not with violence, not with police, with truth. One of my mechanics, Danny, noticed. You okay, boss? You seem off. Just thinking. About what? About how people aren't like engines. You can't just replace the broken parts and make them work again. Danny laughed. That's dark, man. You need a vacation. Maybe. Or maybe I needed to finish what I'd started. That night, Marlene made spaghetti. Travis came over, which was becoming routine. They were circling, preparing for something. I could feel it. Dad, I need an answer about those documents, Travis said over dinner. The opportunity I mentioned? It closes Monday. If we're going to move, we need to move now. What happens if I say no? He set down his fork. Then you miss out. And honestly, at your age, with your health issues, missing opportunities like this, it's concerning. My health issues. The fatigue, the memory problems. Mom's worried. I'm worried. He looked at Marlene. We think it might be time to have a serious conversation about your capacity to make financial decisions. There it was, the threat, barely veiled. I see, I said quietly. We're not trying to hurt you, Dad. We're trying to protect you from yourself. Travis leaned forward. Sign the documents. Let me handle the investment. You won't regret it. I looked at my son. Really looked at him. Tried to find the boy who'd played catch in the backyard, who'd cried when his goldfish passed, who'd hugged me after his first day of school. He was gone. Or maybe he'd never existed either. I'll give you an answer after this weekend, I said. Travis smiled. That works? Actually, that's perfect. Because tomorrow night, I have some business associates coming over. Late. You should probably just go to bed early. Get some rest. What kind of business? Just networking. Boring stuff. You wouldn't be interested. The tournament. He was telling me to stay out of the way for the tournament. Sure, I said. I'll stay upstairs. Marlene squeezed my hand. That's good, honey. You need your sleep. After they left, I texted Ethan. Tomorrow night. They just confirmed it. His response, perfect. Game over. I barely slept that night, lay in bed running through scenarios. What if something went wrong? What if the cameras failed? What if the players didn't care about being cheated? But then I remembered the money. $300,000 over 10 nights. These weren't casual gamblers. They were serious players. Men who would absolutely care. Men who would make Travis and Marlene pay. Friday morning came too fast. Marlene was already up, cleaning the house. Nervous energy. She vacuumed the basement twice, rearranged the bar, checked the card table. Big night? I asked. She jumped. What? Oh, Travis is having some people over. I'm just helping him set up. Thought you had a shift tonight. I called in. Travis needed help. Of course she did. The tournament was more important than her job. More important than anything. I spent the day at the shop, but I couldn't focus. Finally, around 4, I locked up and went home. Marlene was in the kitchen making appetizers, fancy stuff, shrimp cocktail, stuffed mushrooms, cheese plates. You didn't have to do all this, I said. I want Travis's friends to feel welcome. She didn't look at me. You should probably take your medicine and go to bed early. They'll be loud. I will. I went upstairs and waited. Watched through the window as cars started arriving around 9. Expensive cars. Mercedes, BMW, Lexus. 8 of them, just like Ethan said. My phone buzzed. Ethan, I'm in position. Cameras are live. Wait for my signal. The game started at 9:30. I watched on my phone as 8 men sat around my table with serious faces and stacks of chips. Travis stood at the head, welcoming everyone. Marlene worked the bar, $20,000 buy-in, $160,000 in the pot. The biggest game yet, and the last. The tournament moved slowly at first. Professional players, careful players. They weren't here to throw money around. They were here to win. I recognized 3 faces from previous nights. Vincent Moretti sat directly across from the dealer. Next to him was a man in his 60s, silver hair, expensive watch. The others I didn't know, but they all had the same look. Money, power. The kind of men who didn't lose gracefully. Travis circulated the room, playing host. Marlene kept drinks flowing. Everything looked legitimate. A high-stakes friendly game among businessmen. Except it wasn't friendly, and it wasn't legitimate. I watched the dealer's hands carefully. First hour, nothing. Clean deals, fair cards. They were being smart, building trust, letting the players get comfortable. Second hour, small moves, a bottom deal here, a second deal there, nothing obvious. The pots grew larger. Vincent won a big hand and grinned. The silver-haired man lost $15,000 and barely blinked. Third hour, the real cheating started. Travis positioned himself behind certain players, giving the dealer signals. Subtle gestures that told the dealer who to help, who to hurt. The cards flowed accordingly. One player was up $60,000, another was down $40,000. The variance was too perfect, too controlled. My phone buzzed. Ethan. They're making their move. Almost time. I texted back. How will I know? His response made me smile. Trust me. You'll know. Fourth hour. Midnight. The biggest pot of the night was building. 4 players still in, over $80,000 in the center. Vincent had 2 pairs showing. The silver-haired man had a possible straight. The tension was thick enough to cut. The dealer prepared to show the river card. And every television screen in the basement suddenly came to life. Not with sports, not with news, with video footage of previous games. Crystal clear footage showing the dealer's hands, bottom deals, second deals, false shuffles, Travis giving signals, money changing hands after rigged pots, 10 nights of evidence playing on a loop. Every player froze. What the hell is this? Vincent stood up, his chair crashing backward. Travis spun toward the screens, his face going white. I don't know. This is you cheating us, the silver-haired man said quietly. His voice was ice. This is you stealing our money. No, wait, I can explain. Explain what? Another player stood. Explain how you've been running a rigged game? Explain how much money we've lost? Marlene rushed toward the television, trying to turn it off. But the footage kept playing. Different angle, same story. Travis signaling. The dealer responding. Cards being manipulated. Someone set this up, Travis shouted. Someone's trying to frame me. Frame you? Vincent walked toward him. That's your basement, that's your table, that's your dealer. He pointed at the screen. That's your hand giving signals. That's when I came down the stairs. Every eye turned to me. I was supposed to be upstairs, drugged and sleeping, but there I stood, fully awake, fully aware. Hello, gentlemen, I said. I'm Leo Abbott. This is my house, and I think you all deserve to know what's been happening here. Travis's expression went from white to red. Dad, go back to bed. You don't know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I walked to the center of the room. For the past month, my wife and son have been drugging me with sleeping pills so I wouldn't know about these games. They've been planning to have me declared mentally incompetent so they can take my property, my business, everything I own. That's not true, Marlene said, but her voice wavered. It's absolutely true. I have video evidence. Lab tests showing zolpidem in my bourbon. Financial records showing Travis is drowning in problems and needs money desperately. I looked at each player, and now I have 40 hours of footage showing you've all been cheated, systematically, professionally, by my son and his dealer. The room went silent except for the video still playing on the screens. Vincent spoke first. How much? What? Travis said. How much did you take from me? Total. Travis didn't answer. Answer him, the silver-haired man said. How much did you take from all of us? I didn't. It's not what it looks like. It looks like you ran a rigged game and stole $300,000, I said. Give or take. Someone swore. Someone else started calculating numbers on their phone. The mood in the room shifted from shock to anger. You need to give us our money back, Vincent said. All of it, now. I don't have it, Travis said. Then sell something. Your condo, your car, your business. Vincent stepped closer. Because if you don't make this right, we're going to have a serious problem. Are you threatening me? I'm promising you. Vincent's voice dropped. I know people, Travis. People who handle problems. You understand what I'm saying? Travis looked around the room, searching for sympathy, finding none. These men weren't his friends. They were his marks, and marks didn't forgive. Dad, he turned to me, desperate now. Dad, please. Tell them this is a misunderstanding. Tell them what? That you didn't drug me? That you didn't plan to steal everything from me? That these games were fair? I shook my head. I'm done lying for you, Travis. Marlene tried next. She moved toward me, her face soft, pleading. Leo, honey, you're confused. You don't understand what's happening here. Let's go upstairs and talk about this. I understand perfectly. You've been poisoning me for weeks, building a case to have me declared incompetent, planning to take everything while I was too drugged to stop you. That's not... We were just trying to help you rest. You were so tired all the time. I was tired because you were drugging me. I pulled out the lab report Ethan had given me and handed it to Vincent. This shows what was in my bourbon. 10 milligrams of zolpidem every night. My wife is a cardiac nurse. She knows exactly what that does to someone. Vincent read the report, his jaw tightening. Then he passed it to the silver-haired man. This is premeditated. They were setting him up. To steal his assets, I continued. My house is worth $400,000. My business grosses $200,000 a year. They wanted it all. Jesus, someone muttered. Travis was sweating now. Dad, listen to me. We can work this out. Whatever you think is happening, I don't think anything. I know. I pulled out my phone and played audio from one of the cameras. Travis's voice, clear and distinct. Once we have power of attorney, the house is ours. We can refinance it, use it as collateral, whatever we need. He won't even know until it's done. The room went completely silent. That's your voice? Vincent said to Travis. Your plan. You don't understand the context. The context is you plan to steal from your own father. The silver-haired man stood. And you stole from us. $300,000. I need time, Travis said. I can get you the money, but I need time. How much time? 6 months, maybe a year. You have 1 week, Vincent said. Full restitution. Every dollar you took from every person in this room. 1 week, or we take it from you another way. Travis's face crumbled. I can't get that much in a week. It's impossible. Then you should have thought about that before you cheated us. Vincent looked around. Everyone agree? 1 week? The other players nodded. Wait, Marlene said. This isn't fair. You're all ganging up on him. He made a mistake, but... A mistake? The silver-haired man interrupted. Lady, your son ran a criminal enterprise in your house. He stole from dangerous people. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. He's my son. I'm his mother. I have to protect him. You should have protected your husband instead. Vincent gathered his chips. None of these are worth anything now, but I'll be back in a week for real money, cash, all of it. The players started filing out. No goodbyes, no sympathy, just cold exits and colder promises. When the last one left, Travis turned on me. You destroyed me, you know that? You destroyed your own son. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped you from destroying me too. I needed that money. I needed it to stay afloat. Everything I've built, everything I've worked for. You built it on lies and theft, and you worked at stealing from your own father? I stepped closer. Did you ever love me, Travis? Or was I always just an asset to you? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. I looked at Marlene. Pack your things. Both of you. You're not staying here tonight. This is my house too, Marlene said. Not anymore. I saw a lawyer yesterday. Filed for separation. You have no legal right to be here. I pulled out papers from my pocket. You're served. She stared at the documents like they were written in a foreign language. Leo, you can't. We've been married for 30 years. And you've been drugging me for 1 month. I think the marriage is over, Marlene. I was trying to help you. You were trying to help yourself. I turned away. You have an hour to get what you need. After that, I'm changing the locks. Travis grabbed my arm. Dad, please, I'm drowning here. I owe people money. Bad people. If I don't pay them back, then you'll learn what it's like to face consequences. I pulled my arm free. You tried to take everything from me. Now deal with losing everything yourself. I'm your son. You stopped being my son when you decided I was worth more asleep than awake. I walked to the stairs. 1 hour. Then I want you both gone. I went upstairs and sat in the bedroom, listening to them move around below. Marlene was crying. Travis was on the phone, his voice desperate, trying to call in favors that didn't exist. Ethan appeared at my door. I hadn't heard him come in. How do you feel? He asked. Like I just burned down my whole life. No, you burned down their version of your life. Your real life starts now. He handed me a folder. This is everything. Certified copies of the video evidence, the lab tests, the financial records. Keep it somewhere safe. If they try to come back at you legally, you'll need it. Will they? Probably. People like this don't accept defeat. They'll try to spin it, blame you, maybe even press charges for invasion of privacy or something equally ridiculous. He sat down. But you have the truth, Leo, and the truth is bulletproof. Below, a door slammed, then another. Car engines started. Headlights swept across the window. They were leaving. I walked downstairs and found the house empty. They'd taken clothes, personal items, not much else. The basement still smelled like cigars and desperation. I turned off all the lights except one in the kitchen. Poured myself a real bourbon, no pills, no poison. Just the taste I'd known for 30 years. Ethan joined me. What happens next? I don't know. I guess I run my business, live my life, try to figure out who I am without them. You're the man who fought back. That's who you are. He raised his glass. To victory. To survival, I corrected. We drank in silence. Saturday morning came quiet. No Marlene making coffee, no Travis showing up for breakfast. Just me in the empty house. I should have felt victorious, triumphant. Instead, I felt hollow. Ethan knocked around 8. Thought you might need company. I'm fine. You're not, but that's okay. He came in without waiting for invitation. I brought bagels and the newspaper. We're going to sit here and pretend to have a normal morning. Why? Because revenge is just the first step, Leo. The second step is figuring out how to live with it. We sat at the kitchen table. I couldn't eat. The bagels tasted like cardboard. Have you heard from them? Ethan asked. Not a word. You will. Travis has 6 days to find $300,000. He'll try everything. Loans, investors, maybe even coming back here to beg. I won't help him. I know, but you need to be prepared for what comes next. He'll try to turn this around, make himself the victim. You the villain. Ethan sipped his coffee. He might even go to the police. And say what? That I caught him running an illegal gambling operation in my house? He might claim you fabricated evidence, that you drugged yourself to frame them. People say crazy things when they're desperate. I hadn't thought of that. Can he do that? He can try, but the evidence is solid. The video, the lab tests, the financial records, all of it points one direction. Ethan set down his cup. You did this right, Leo. Methodically, carefully, that's why you'll win. My phone rang. Marlene. I didn't answer. It rang again. I turned it off. Good, Ethan said. Let them stew. Let them panic. Every hour they spend terrified is an hour you get to breathe. I spent the rest of the day cleaning. Scrubbed the basement until it smelled like bleach instead of cigars. Took down the poker table. Rearranged furniture. Tried to make it look like a normal basement again. But it would never be normal. This room would always be the place where I learned my family wanted me gone. Sunday, I opened the shop. Didn't need to, but I needed something to do. Danny was there, working on a brake job. Boss, thought you were taking the weekend off. Changed my mind. You okay? You look like hell? Family stuff. He nodded, didn't push. That was Danny. Good mechanic, better friend. Knew when to talk, when to shut up. I buried myself in work. Changed oil, rotated tires, diagnosed a transmission problem. Simple, concrete tasks. Things I could fix, unlike my family. Around noon, a black Mercedes pulled into the lot. Vincent Moretti got out. Leo, can we talk? I wiped my hands on a rag. About what? About Friday night. About your son. We went into the office. Vincent sat down, looked around at the diplomas and certificates on the wall. How long you been doing this? 8 years owning the place. 20 total working on cars. Honest work. That's the idea. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I've been thinking about what happened, about the games, the money, all of it, and I've got a proposition for you. I'm not interested. Hear me out. Your son owes me $60,000. $60,000 he doesn't have and can't get. Now, I could make his life very difficult. Send some people to encourage payment. You know what I mean? I knew exactly what he meant. But, Vincent continued, you seem like a decent guy. Honest. You got screwed by your own family. I respect that you fought back. He leaned forward. So here's the deal. You give me $60,000, I forgive your son's portion. Consider it buying him out of trouble. Why would I do that? Because he's still your son. Because despite everything, maybe you don't want to see him hurt? Vincent shrugged. Or maybe you do. I don't know, but the offer's there. 1 week, same as him. And if I say no, then Travis deals with his own mess, which between you and me won't go well for him. After Vincent left, I sat in my office and stared at the wall. $60,000. I had it. The business was doing well. Savings, investments, I could pull it together. But should I? Travis had tried to destroy me, drugged me, planned to steal everything, and now I was supposed to save him? I called Ethan. Moretti just offered me a deal, $60,000 to clear Travis's part. Are you considering it? I don't know. He's my son, Ethan. Despite everything, he's my son. Silence on the other end. Then, Leo, listen to me carefully. If you give Travis this money, you're teaching him he can do anything and you'll fix it. You're telling him there are no real consequences. Is that what you want? I want my son back. Your son is gone. Maybe he never existed. You need to accept that and move forward. How? How do I just write him off? By remembering what he did to you. By remembering he chose this. Ethan's voice was firm. You gave him everything. A good childhood, education, opportunities, and he repaid you by trying to erase you. That's not a son, Leo. That's a predator. He was right. I knew he was right. But it still hurt. Monday morning, Travis called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered before thinking. Dad, please, I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. I'm begging you. These people are serious. They're going to hurt me if I don't pay them. Then pay them. I can't. I don't have the money. I've tried everything. Banks won't touch me. Nobody will loan me anything. His voice cracked. You're my last option. I'm not an option at all. Dad, please. I know I messed up. I know I did wrong, but I'm your son. You can't just leave me to face consequences? Yes, I can. You tried to steal my life. Now you get to lose yours. I hung up. The phone rang again immediately. I turned it off. Ethan was right. Saving Travis would teach him nothing. He'd just find another scheme, another victim, maybe even try again with me once enough time passed. Tuesday, Marlene showed up at the shop. Danny tried to turn her away, but she pushed past him into my office. Leo, we need to talk. No, we don't. Travis is in real danger. These men he owes money to, they're not playing games. Neither am I. He's your son. He stopped being my son when he decided I was more valuable asleep than awake. I stood up. You both made your choice. Live with it. I made a mistake. We both did. But that doesn't mean you should let him get hurt. I said, why not? You were planning to hurt me. Take everything from me, lock me into legal guardianship, make me go away while you gambled in my house. I walked to the door and held it open. I think turnabout is fair. I never wanted this. Travis needed help. He was desperate. I thought if we could just keep you calm, keep you resting, we could figure it out. By drugging me. It wasn't supposed to be permanent, just until we got things settled. Things meaning my assets, my property, my life. I shook my head. Get out, Marlene, and don't come back. She left crying. I felt nothing. Wednesday, the silver-haired man from the game showed up. His name was Richard Cross. He owned half the commercial real estate downtown. Mr. Abbott, may I come in? Depends on what you want. Just to talk. No threats, no deals, just conversation. He smiled. I promise. I let him in. He sat down, looked around the shop with an appraising eye. Nice place. Clean, organized, bet you run a tight ship. I do my best. Your son told me you were a simple man, a mechanic who didn't understand finance or business. He said you were getting old, confused, needed guidance. Cross looked at me. But you're not any of those things, are you? I'm 56. I know exactly who I am and what I own. That's what I thought. Travis underestimated you. Fatal mistake. He pulled out a checkbook. I'm going to write you a check for $20,000. Why? Because I appreciate what you did. Exposing a cheat takes courage. Most people would have just walked away, cut their losses. But you burned it all down. I respect that. He wrote the check, handed it to me. Considerate payment for services rendered. I looked at the check. $20,000. I didn't do it for money. I know. That's why I'm paying you. Men who act out of principle are rare. I like supporting rare things. He stood. Your son owes me $40,000. I don't expect you to pay it, but I thought you should know. I'll give him 2 weeks instead of 1. Professional courtesy to you, not him. He'll just waste the extra time. Probably, but that's his problem, not yours. Cross headed for the door. Take care, Mr. Abbott. Men like you deserve better families. After he'd left, I stared at the check for a long time. $20,000 for ruining my own son. It felt like tainted money, but I deposited it anyway. Thursday, Ethan came by with news. Travis declared bankruptcy this morning. What does that mean? It means he's admitting defeat. He can't pay his debts, so he's asking the court for protection. It'll ruin his credit, probably cost him his broker's license, but it keeps people like Moretti from collecting. So he gets away with it. Not exactly. Bankruptcy doesn't erase everything. The gambling debts won't be covered, and his reputation is destroyed. No one in finance will touch him. He's finished in this town. Good. Is it? Ethan looked at me. You won, Leo. You destroyed them completely. Your wife is living in a motel. Your son is bankrupt and unemployable. You got revenge. So why don't you look happy? Because it doesn't feel how I thought it would. How did you think it would feel? Like justice, like victory, like I'd won something. I sat down. Instead, I just feel empty. That's normal. Revenge isn't like the movies. There's no triumphant music, no satisfying ending. There's just the aftermath, the silence, the knowledge that you had to destroy your family to save yourself. So what do I do now? You live, Leo. You rebuild. You find new purpose. He stood. The hard part is over. Everything from here is just recovery. I wanted to believe him. But Thursday night, lying in my empty house, I realized something. Victory wasn't supposed to feel like this. Cold, hollow, lonely. Maybe revenge never did. Friday morning, exactly 1 week after the tournament, I woke up to find my shop vandalized. Windows broken. Traitor spray-painted across the front door. 2 of my toolboxes emptied, tools scattered across the lot. I called the police. They came, took a report, told me they'd investigate. But I knew who did it. Travis. One last act of impotent rage. I spent the day cleaning up. Danny helped. Together, we swept up glass, fixed what we could, ordered replacements for what we couldn't. Someone really hates you, Danny said. Yeah, my son. He didn't ask questions, just kept working. By evening, the shop looked almost normal. The windows would take a week to replace, but everything else was fixable. Everything except my family. I went home, poured a bourbon, a real one, no pills, and sat in my kitchen. Looked at the empty chair where Marlene used to sit, the empty doorway where Travis used to stand. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Mr. Abbott, this is Detective Morrison. We're investigating a series of complaints filed by your son. He claims you falsified evidence, drugged yourself, and framed him for running illegal gambling games. Would you be willing to come down to the station and answer some questions? I smiled. Of course, Detective. When would you like me to come in? How about tomorrow morning, say 10? I'll be there. I hung up and called Ethan. They're coming after me. Travis filed complaints. Police want to talk? Let them. We have everything documented. Video timestamps that match your hospital records showing when you were supposedly drugged, lab tests from an independent facility, financial records showing Travis's desperation. Let them investigate. It'll only make him look worse. Are you sure? Leo, you did this right. You have proof of everything. Travis has accusations and desperation. I know which side wins. Saturday morning, I sat in Detective Morrison's office and told the truth. Showed the video evidence, the lab reports, the financial documents, explained everything calmly, methodically. Morrison listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sat back. Mr. Abbott, I've been a cop for 23 years. I've seen a lot of family disputes. But this? He shook his head. Your son tried to erase you. Legally, financially, medically, that's sociopathic behavior. So you believe me? The evidence speaks for itself. I'll be recommending we close his complaints as unfounded, and I'll be referring his gambling operation to the DA's office. What he did was criminal. Will they prosecute? Probably not. The players won't testify, they'd incriminate themselves. And without victims willing to press charges, there's no case. He stood. But your son's name is now in the system. If he tries anything else, we'll be watching. I left the station feeling lighter. The last threat was gone. Travis couldn't hurt me anymore. I'd won. Completely. Sunday morning, 1 week after everything fell apart, I woke up to sunshine and silence. No Marlene, no Travis, no schemes or pills or lies, just me. I made coffee, read the paper, worked a crossword puzzle, normal things, small things, things I hadn't appreciated before. Ethan called around 10. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Police closed Travis's complaints. I know. Morrison called me yesterday, said your evidence was airtight. He paused. So it's really over. How does that feel? Strange. Like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. There is no other shoe. You won, Leo. Accept it. I'm trying. Good. Because I have news. Richard Cross called me this morning. He's interested in investing in your business, wants to help you expand, maybe open a second location. He was impressed by how you handled everything. I don't want his money. Why not? It's legitimate, and it could turn your shop into something bigger. You've been talking about expansion for years. He was right. I had been talking about it. Before Marlene, before Travis, before everything got complicated. Let me think about it. Fair enough. But Leo, don't let what they did stop you from living. That's the final revenge, thriving while they're falling apart. After Ethan hung up, I drove to the shop. Stood outside looking at it. Abbott Auto Repair. My name, my work, my legacy. Travis had tried to take it. Failed. Now I could do whatever I wanted with it. Monday, I called Richard Cross. Tell me about this investment. We met for coffee. He laid out a proposal. $200,000 for a 40% stake. Enough to open a second location, hire more mechanics, expand services. Why me? I asked. Because you're honest. Because you fight for what's yours. Because I've been in business 40 years, and I know quality when I see it. He sipped his coffee. Also, I like the irony. Your son tried to steal from you. Now I'm helping you build something bigger than he ever could. What if I fail? Then we both lose money, but I don't think you will. Men who survive what you survived don't quit easily. I signed the papers that afternoon. Tuesday, I hired a contractor to scout locations for the second shop. Found a perfect spot on the east side of town, near the new developments. 6 bays, plenty of parking, room to grow. Wednesday, I filed for divorce. Marlene didn't contest it, didn't even show up to the hearing. The judge granted everything I asked for. The house, the business, full separation of assets. 30 years of marriage, over in 15 minutes. Thursday, I changed my will. Everything I owned would go to charity when I passed away. No family, no son, just organizations that helped people in need. Friday, 2 weeks after the tournament, I got a letter from Travis. Handwritten. Desperate. Dad, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I hurt you. But I'm still your son. Doesn't that mean anything? I've lost everything. My business, my license, my reputation. I'm working at a call center making minimum wage. Mom's working double shifts just to afford rent. We're barely surviving. And I know it's our fault. I know we did this to ourselves. But if you could just help us a little, just enough to get back on our feet, I promise I'll never. I stopped reading, tore the letter into pieces, threw it away. He wanted me to feel guilty, to remember he was my son, to forget what he'd done. But I couldn't forget, wouldn't forget. He'd made his choice. Now he lived with it. Saturday morning, Ethan came by with breakfast and newspapers. Heard you opened the second shop this week. Congratulations. Thanks. It's good. Feels like starting over. That's because you are starting over. New business, new life, new purpose. He poured coffee. How do you feel about everything now, 2 weeks later? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I feel free, I said finally. For 30 years I carried them, supported them, sacrificed for them, and they were planning to discard me the moment it was convenient. Now they're gone, and I'm free. No regrets? Some. I wish it hadn't been necessary. I wish they'd been different people. But regrets don't change anything. They tried to destroy me. I destroyed them first. That's just survival. That's exactly right. Ethan raised his coffee cup. To survival, and to new beginnings. We drank. Outside, the sun was shining. Birds were singing. Life was continuing. And I was part of it again. Not as someone's husband or father, not as someone's mark or victim. Just as Leo Abbott, mechanic, business owner, survivor. That was enough. 3 weeks after the tournament, everything changed again. I was at the original shop, working on an engine rebuild when Vincent Moretti showed up. Not alone this time. He had 2 men with him, large men, serious faces. "Leo, we need to talk." I set down my wrench. "About what?" "About your son. About money he still owes me." "I told you, his debts aren't my problem." "See, that's where we disagree." Vincent walked closer. "Travis filed bankruptcy, which means I get nothing. $60,000 gone, and I'm not the type of man who accepts losses." "What do you want me to do about it?" "Pay it. You're his father. You have the means. It's the right thing to do." "The right thing?" I laughed. "Vincent, my son tried to steal everything from me, drugged me, planned to have me declared incompetent. Why would I pay his debts?" "Because if you don't, I'll make your life very difficult. New shops get vandalized sometimes, accidents happen. Would be a shame if something happened to your expanding business." There it was, the threat I'd been waiting for. I looked at the 2 men flanking Vincent. They looked back with empty eyes. Men who'd done this before, men who would do it again. "How much time do I have?" "End of the week. 60,000 in cash, or we start breaking things." After they left, I called Ethan, told him everything. "This is escalating," he said. "You need to call the police." "And tell them what?" Vincent made vague threats. "Nothing concrete, nothing they can act on." "So what are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not paying him $60,000. That's not happening." I spent the next 2 days thinking, planning. Vincent was a businessman, but he was also a criminal. Men like him responded to leverage, to power, to fear. I needed leverage. Wednesday morning, I drove to the construction site where Vincent's company was building a new apartment complex. Watched from a distance. Saw code violations everywhere. Unsafe scaffolding. Workers without proper gear. Materials stored illegally. I took pictures. Lots of pictures. Then I visited the county inspector's office. Found a young guy named Miller who looked honest. "I have concerns about a construction site," I told him. Showed him the pictures. His eyes went wide. "This is serious. These violations could shut down the project." "Can they?" "If we inspect and find what's in these photos?" "Absolutely. Who's the contractor?" "Vincent Moretti." Miller's expression changed. "Moretti. That's a difficult situation." "Why?" "Because he's connected, has friends in City Hall. Complaints against his company tend to disappear." "What if they didn't disappear? What if someone made sure this inspection happened?" Miller looked at me for a long moment. "You're asking me to go against some powerful people." "I'm asking you to do your job. Those workers are in danger. That building could collapse, and all because Vincent Moretti thinks he's above the law." Something shifted in Miller's face. "You're right. Give me a day. I'll inspect the site myself." Thursday morning, Miller shut down Vincent's construction project. Cited 19 separate code violations. The local news covered it. Photos of the unsafe site. Interviews with workers. Estimates of how much the delay would cost. Millions. Vincent called me that afternoon. "You did this." "I reported safety violations. Someone had to." "You're playing a dangerous game, Leo." "So are you. Threatening me because your card game got exposed? Because you were stupid enough to play in a rigged game?" I laughed. "Vincent, you came to my house. You lost money in an illegal gambling operation. If I go to the police with that information, you're finished. Your construction business, your reputation, all of it." Silence on the other end. "So here's what's going to happen," I continued. "You're going to forget Travis owes you money. You're going to forget I exist. And I'm going to forget I have evidence of you participating in illegal gambling. We both walk away. Deal?" More silence. Then, "Deal." He hung up. I sat back and breathed. The last threat was gone. Vincent wouldn't come after me. Couldn't come after me. We were both holding grenades, and pulling the pin meant mutual destruction. Friday evening, Ethan came by the new shop. I was doing the final walkthrough before opening next week. "Heard about Vincent's construction problems," he said. "That was you?" "Safety first," he smiled. "You're learning, using their own tactics against them. I'm proud. I'm just tired of being threatened. Tired of people thinking I'm an easy mark because I'm quiet. You were never an easy mark, Leo. You were just patient. There's a difference." He looked around the new shop. "This place looks good. When do you open?" "Monday. Already have 6 appointments scheduled. Business will be good. Word spreading about what happened. People respect what you did. Standing up to family, to criminals, to everyone who tried to take advantage." He clapped my shoulder. "You're a legend in this town now." "I don't want to be a legend. I just want to be left alone." Too late for that. But that's okay. Legends get good business. He was right. Monday morning, I opened the new shop and customers poured in. People I'd never met. People who'd heard my story. People who wanted to support a man who fought back. By the end of the week, both shops were fully booked. By the end of the month, I'd hired 4 new mechanics. By the end of the quarter, I was looking at opening a 3rd location. The business Travis tried to steal became bigger than he ever could have imagined, and every dollar I made was a dollar he'd never touch. Every expansion was proof that I'd won. Completely. 6 months after the tournament, I got a Christmas card from Marlene. No return address, just a note inside. Leo, I know you'll probably throw this away without reading it, but I needed to try. I'm sorry. For everything. For the pills, the games, the plan, for choosing Travis over you. I was wrong. We both were. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I see that now. That I understand what we did. And that I hate myself for it. If I could go back, I'd choose differently. I'd choose you. But I can't go back. All I can do is say I'm sorry and mean it. Marlene. I read it twice. Then I burned it. Sorry wasn't enough. Sorry didn't undo the pills, the betrayal, the scheme. Sorry was just a word people used when consequences finally arrived. Travis never wrote, never called. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he'd left town, moved to Florida, was working as a used car salesman, living in a studio apartment, barely scraping by. Good. Let him scrape. Let him struggle. Let him remember every single day what he lost and why he lost it. 1 year after the tournament, I sat in my office at the original shop and looked at the financials. 3 locations now. 16 employees. Revenue up 400%. Abbott Auto Repair was the biggest independent shop in the county. Ethan knocked on my door. Got a minute? Always. He came in, sat down. I've been thinking about what happened, about the whole situation, and I realized something. What's that? You didn't just win, Leo. You transformed. You went from a tired mechanic being drugged by his family to a successful businessman with a growing empire. You took the worst thing that ever happened to you and turned it into fuel. That's rare. That's special. I just did what I had to do. No, you did more than that. You could have just stopped them, exposed them. But instead, you built something. You turned revenge into success. That's the real victory. He was right. I hadn't just destroyed them. I'd used the anger, the betrayal, the hurt to create something bigger than all of it. They tried to take everything. I took it back and multiplied it. That night, I went home to my house. Still empty, still quiet, but no longer lonely. I'd learned to live with myself, to enjoy the silence, to appreciate the freedom. I poured a bourbon, real bourbon, no pills, no poison, just the taste I loved. And I thought about how close I'd come to losing everything, how easily they could have succeeded if I'd kept swallowing those pills, if I'd trusted them just a little longer. But I didn't. I woke up, I fought back, I won. And now I got to live with that victory every single day. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Mr. Abbott, this is Robert Chen from Channel 7 News. We're doing a story on small business success in the region, and your name came up repeatedly. Would you be willing to do an interview? What kind of interview? Just talking about your business growth, your strategies, what makes Abbott Auto Repair successful, human interest stuff. I thought about it. Thought about Travis seeing me on television, seeing my success, seeing proof that I'd won. Sure, I said. I'd be happy to. The interview aired 2 weeks later. They filmed at all 3 shops, showed the employees, the customers, the growth, and they asked me the question I'd been waiting for. Mr. Abbott, what's your secret? How did you grow this business so dramatically in just 1 year? I looked directly at the camera. Thought about Travis watching somewhere in Florida. Thought about Marlene in her cheap apartment. Thought about everyone who'd tried to stop me. I got rid of the people holding me back, I said, and I never looked back. The reporter laughed, thinking it was a joke. But I wasn't joking. That was the truth. The whole truth. The only truth that mattered. 2 years after the tournament, I stood in my backyard on a Saturday afternoon. The garden was blooming, birds were singing, life was good. My phone rang. Ethan. Turn on the news, he said. Channel 7. I went inside and turned it on. Breaking news. Travis Abbott arrested in Miami for mortgage fraud. Multiple counts, federal charges, facing 20 years. I watched as they showed his mugshot. He looked older, thinner, defeated. The reporter explained he'd been running a scheme with falsified documents, stealing from home buyers. It had finally caught up with him. "You okay?" Ethan asked. "Yeah," I said. "I'm okay." He destroyed himself, just like we knew he would. Yeah. I hung up and turned off the television. Didn't need to see any more. Didn't need to celebrate. Travis's destruction was inevitable the moment he chose crime over honesty. This was just the natural conclusion. I went back outside, sat in my lawn chair, drank my bourbon, and I realized something. I didn't hate Travis anymore. Didn't hate Marlene. Didn't feel anything toward them except distance. They were characters in a story that ended long ago, a story where I was the only survivor. The sun was setting, golden light across the yard. My house, my life. They'd tried to take it all. Instead, I took everything from them. Their money, their reputation, their future, and I turned it into mine. That was the real revenge. Not destruction, transformation. Using their betrayal as fuel for something bigger, better, stronger. I raised my glass to the sunset, to victory, to freedom, to the night they tried to put me to sleep, and the day I woke up and won.